You were talking last night about building your life for women. Can you explain that? Even if you're not rich, there's ways to do this.
In the beginning, figured out what I wanted and then figure out how to get it.
You obviously have the house, you have women that come by, and you don't have to go work for it. You don't have to go into their world and impress them. They're coming here, which automatically is like easier.
It's all about just like working smarter, not harder.
Problem is that the average guy goes and he looks, how can I get better? And he goes to the store and he buys a book like Men Are From Mars, which basically tells him to be more of a nice guy, to be more of a pushover. And
like, written by a fucking woman or by a gay guy.
Yeah. Hey guys, Bobby Rio here, and I'm with my good friend Rob Judge, and we're here with Dan Bilzerian out in Las Vegas at his house, and we've been filming modules for Dan's upcoming Sigma Society, which he's really excited about. We thought it was really awesome, and happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you guys, man. I got introduced through a good friend of mine. You were giving him some dating coaching. And the funny part about it was this guy actually got a lot of pussy, but it was never enough, like me. So he just wanted to hone his skills, and so he would recount like a lot of conversations that they would have and some of the advice and stuff like that. And it was interesting because I came to some of the similar conclusions just through experience and seeing like behavior patterns and understanding psychology and whatnot. But he understood it on a deeper basis. You know what I mean? Like I knew things, I just didn't know why they were true. Like I understood the psychological piece of it, but I feel like you break it down even further with the analysis of, okay, why this, like I knew shit would work, but I just didn't understand like all the nuances of why. And then you guys had a little bit more of some manipulation stuff, which works. And then like you get the psychology behind funny TikToks and shit like that, where it's like they're giving the toxic advice, but there's like truth to it. And there's truth to it because of this and this. And like these like understanding, I think understanding human psychology, female psychology or whatever, allows people to understand why women do things they do. Because I think a lot of guys are just, they don't understand. They're like, I was so nice to this girl and this guy was an asshole. Why would she fuck this guy? It's like counterintuitive, but he's not seeing all the other reasons, right? There's what the woman says that she wants, and then there's the guy that she actually fucks every single time, right? And almost never are they correlated. And so understanding the reasons, like what things trigger attraction, I think understanding all that is going to give guys a better idea of why things work and why they don't work. And I think once you start understanding why things work and don't work, then you can be less focused on like individual things and you can have a more macro approach to it. Like you don't have to remember specific tricks. You just have to understand the psychology of like why this thing works. And then you can implement your own stuff as opposed to like having too much of a one-trick pony routine, I feel like.
So what I think is great about that and the psychology aspect of it is that's what I think a lot of guys miss. Because I always get the comments, and I'm sure you'll get the comments, the same type of things where it's like, guys, you shouldn't have to play games. You shouldn't have to change who you are. And what they don't realize is we're not like telling you to play games. It's that women respond to certain things. And if you want to ignore that and do the complete opposite because that's what some movie told you to do, like, okay, keep failing. Or you can go, hey, this is what actually works. And there's a reason it works, right? There's a whole bunch of psychology of why women are actually responding to this, right? The anticipation, the buildup. These are all things that make up women's romance novels. It's what they want.
And here's the thing. It is a bit of a game. And if what the motherfucker was doing was working so goddamn good, he wouldn't be fucking here asking for better advice, right? If he was out there knocking off every single piece of pussy that he went and talked to, then fuck it. Do what you're doing. But that's not happening. It's not happening for me. I don't fuck every single fucking girl that I want, so I know it's not happening for this fucking guy. So my thing is, you have to game it a little bit initially. It's just like a negotiation. It's like anything in life, right? There is a bit of a game. This is a person that fucking doesn't know you, or you know what I mean? Somebody that you're fucking building a relationship with. So starting out, you just don't want to make these mistakes. Not that you want to necessarily be manipulative or act like somebody you're not. It's just like you don't want to make mistakes that you know is going to lead to a bad result. Being too fucking nice, doing too many nice things for her before you fucked her is a bad idea. It's not even maybe, it just is. You know?
And it's not really who you are. That's the thing that guys don't get. They're like, I don't want to be somebody I'm not. And I'm like, are you really that nice of a guy? Do you kiss everybody?
That's exactly it. Yes.
You're not really.
They're doing it because they want to fuck the girl. It's like you remove her being hot and they don't do these things. So what they're doing is actually manipulative because they're changing to fuck the girl.
Yeah.
Like they're changing who they are and their approach based on how she looks, how attractive she is, which is fucked up if you think about it. Like these guys want to fucking take the higher ground, right? They're not doing that with a fat chick. They're not going out and fucking buying her groceries. So that's not you. That's you because you want to fuck this girl. So you've got the agenda. Yeah. We're just trying to teach you how to fucking get to your goal. That's all there is. You know what I mean? You want to like package this as, oh, I just want to be genuine. I'm this. No, it's, dude, you're trying to fuck this girl because you find her attractive. What you're doing isn't working, so we're going to explain to you what works so you can get what you want.
Yeah, exactly. You're still playing a game. You're just playing a game. You're playing it the wrong way. We're just showing you the right way to play it, right?
And these girls are playing the game. Whether you want to play or not, they're fucking playing. Yeah. So it's everybody on the fucking team's juicing, and you want to be natural. Okay, and see how it works out. But like, we're just telling you the reality of the situation. Like, the girls that you're talking to are gaming.
Yeah.
They're fucking, and they're better than you because they've been doing this shit for longer, right? They've been doing this shit since they were 12. You've been doing it since you were like 16 or 18. And they've got more experience because they've got guys coming up to them. They've got older guys hitting on them. Like, you're only having experience with the girls that you're hitting on. And most guys like aren't going up to a ton of girls, right? But like, girls are getting approached by a ton of guys because the amount of like attractive women is actually like way less than the amount of like fucking super high status guys, I feel like. So there's all those guys. Then there's all the desperate guys. So like, these hot girls are getting hit on by fucking everybody all the time. So they're just getting more volume. And most guys, fuck, at this point, are just giving up. So you can just remove half of the motherfuckers from the game just because they quit, right? Yeah. So it's like the other fucking third is in drag now. You can't decide what their fucking pronouns are. Yeah. So shit, man. Like,
well, that's another big issue too, is that we've become culturally, there's so much sensitivity now around dating and picking up women. Guys are so afraid to be offensive or getting Me Too'd that now they're like really walking on eggshells.
Yeah, they go the other way.
Yeah.
Even guys are, like, you telling me to escalate? Girls still want to get laid. Like, like, it's not like girls didn't stop wanting sex just because of things. Like, you respect boundaries, you do all that stuff, but it's not like girls all of a sudden go, I don't want to have sex anymore. But that's how some guys have been brainwashed to believe that they're doing something wrong by wanting to sleep with a woman.
Yeah, I don't know of any woman that's attracted to a scared guy.
Yeah.
So if you're scared of this and scared of that, that's not going to be an attractive trait. It's funny, man. Like, you look at all the traits of the guys in the romance novels or the bad boys that are always like cast as the guy that fucks all the girls. They have a lot of like similarities, and the similarities aren't being fucking super nice. It's not like them going out and fucking kissing the girl's ass and chasing them around and buying them flowers and getting them groceries and fucking cleaning the shit up off their shoes. It's just, you can behave like that once you're married. Once you're in a serious relationship, it's fine to treat the girl that you're serious with, treat her well if she treats you well and reciprocate and whatever. But like, in the initial feeling out process, that stuff's just going to cut against you. That's just the way it is.
So this is why I love the idea when you brought the idea of working with him. It's because like most people would assume and we talk about this all the time. You ask somebody who's like really high status, a celebrity, how do you get girls? And they give you some generic thing, right? It's just be yourself or just have confidence. And what I thought was really cool is like, you understand it, you get it, right? Like, you're able to enunciate what a lot of guys that are in your position don't get, or they just don't know how to explain.
Yeah, I had to do it before I had money, right? Yeah. So like, it's, you know, I haven't had money the whole time, and the status stuff came. In fact, the funny thing is the fame came as a result of getting the pussy. But I was in the trenches, man. Like, I was in college. Like, I had to go up and fucking talk to a bunch of girls and get rejected and put myself in situations. Like, the difference between a guy and a girl is like, a guy doesn't just slip and his dick falls in a fucking girl. Like, a guy has to go out and make that shit happen. A girl can just go to a bar and get too drunk, and fucking a bunch of guys will volunteer to take her home. Like, they can accidentally slip and get fucked. Like, a guy has to do everything right. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't happen by accident. Like, and for us, I think at a bare minimum, they need the tools. If they're going to go hunting, they need a fucking spear.
Yeah.
Right? So I just want to give them the fucking tools so they have a possibility of success. I feel like currently, like, the way that it's set up, even if they do find that girl that they really fucking, that likes them back, they're going to fuck it up because they're just going to run her off.
Yeah. It's like our number one thing is guys hit it off and they blow it. It's like they can't keep the attraction alive because they're brainwashed, like we said, with all this stuff. They just can't keep her.
Yeah, I feel like they just communicate way too much interest. And once the girl knows this guy is super into her and that he's not going anywhere, the first thing, like we talked about yesterday, is she starts thinking, okay, what else is out there? Can I do better? And the guy that's going to be on her mind is the fucking toxic ex, or the guy that she can't figure out, or the guy that she doesn't know if he likes her. Like, for her, it's much more interesting and more of a challenge to get the guy that she doesn't know if he likes her to like her, right? Because that gives her some validation versus that's just a layup. Like, most people don't value something that's super easy, right? Like, in our lives, the things that we valued the most are the things that we've worked hard for, right? Like, even a Ferrari. If I fucking just got handed a Ferrari, I probably wouldn't value it that much. But if I worked for fucking 19 years of my life and I'd had that fucking poster on the wall when I finally got that motherfucking Ferrari, even if the thing ran like shit, it'd still make me happy because I'd waited so fucking long for this thing.
Yeah.
I achieved my goal.
Yeah.
And so the same thing with a woman. If she doesn't have to work for it, if it's super easy, a lot of times she's not going to value it. So I just want these guys to like get the value that they deserve. Mm-hmm. And if they approach the situation incorrectly, they're just not going to get the value because the woman's going to look at him like a sucker. She's going to look at him like every other guy that came up and kissed her ass and did all this shit that wasn't a high value guy, because the high value guys in her experience have treated her a certain way. And I'm not telling these guys to treat a girl like shit. No. I'm just saying, don't do too much nice shit early on. Build some fucking kind of tension. Be interesting. Be a bit of a challenge. Don't just serve yourself up on a silver platter and let her decide if you're good enough. Make her qualify herself to you. Make her sell herself to you. That was the one thing with the Neil Strauss interview. I don't know if you guys watched that with Jessica Alba or Beal.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that fucking show? Some hot chick, celebrity, whatever. And he's on there, and the first thing he does is, other than your looks is really common in LA. What do you have? What do you bring to the table? What separates you from other girls? And all of a sudden, now she's like actively qualifying like why she should be good enough to this fucking guy. And it was a little comment, but it was a little comment that worked. And you watch that in real time. You watch her reaction to that. And it was very interesting because it was very subtle. And people might say that it's manipulative, but it seemed pretty fucking authentic. And at the end of the day, it works, right? He never should have gotten Jessica Alba interested in him, but he did.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to continue fucking sea hags, then cool. But if you want to have a chance with a girl like Jessica Alba, play the fucking game.
Yeah. You were talking last night about building your life for women. I think that's like a really good thing. Can you explain that and that I can bring in, and even if you're not rich, there's ways to do this? Do you have?
Yeah. My whole thing has always been about setup. So I think it's just use the tools that you have. A big part of it is just in the beginning, I figured out what I wanted and then figure out how to get it, right? With girls, you can use money. That's a tool. You can sacrifice your time. It just depends on what you have, right? Do you have more time or do you have more money? If you have money, then fucking let's use that. That thing's a sledgehammer. A lot of people just don't use it effectively too.
Yeah. There's
a lot of rich guys that have money, they can't get pussy, or they're not making their money work for them. They're making all these mistakes. They don't have a chef. They're just doing things that, whatever their hourly is, if it's $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour, $10,000 an hour, whatever it is guaranteed to be higher than a chef, right? So he should have a chef. He should have an assistant. There's just like basic things that they should have. And then depending on how much wealth the guy has, he can implement certain tools. Like you could just hire a hot chick to run around and talk about how great he is. And so how something gets served up, I think, is as important as what gets served up. If you've got enough money, you could just hire a hot chick like a biographer and just go around and talk you up.
Yeah.
And that would fucking work super effectively. It's all about just working smarter, not harder.
One of the things you were saying last night that I thought was really true is that you built your life to accommodate what you want, right? And you obviously have the house, you have women that come by, and you don't have to go work for it. You don't have to go into their world and impress them. They're coming here, which automatically is easier. I think a lot of guys don't think like that. And it doesn't have to be having the house. It could be setting up a little charity event that you're the guy, setting up you mentioned a modeling agency, anything that...
Yeah, we did Yule parties, owning a piece of a fucking bar, like all these promoters have fucking 1/10 of 1%. They say they own the bar. Yeah, it's just like owning a popular venue. There's just a lot of different things that you could do. And on the broke scale, let's say you don't have money and you're in college, then you could join a fraternity. That fraternity then puts on parties where it's got great ratios. And you know what I'm saying? There's just you just have to figure out what are your resources? What are your attributes? What do you bring to the table? Maybe you're a guy that's a fucking good singer. You know what I mean? Then you're the guy that fucking belts one out at a fucking party and takes a chick upstairs because she's impressed. You know what I mean? Everybody's got something. And even the guys that don't have anything have fucking time. And time is something. Like if you spend enough time going up and talking to girls, you're going to produce some fucking leads. So you just have to lean on what you got. And when you're younger and you don't have money, then usually it's time. And so then those people should just put in the fucking work, put in the volume, go get 500 rejections. I don't even care if they have success. I just want them out there trying. That's the biggest piece. It's just fucking throw in the towel. It's like, also by having 500 rejections or 100 rejections or wherever you set the bar, it just makes it so that it doesn't matter anymore. Like at some point you're going to stop giving a shit. And when you stop giving a shit, you're going to display confidence just in the fact that you don't care so much about the outcome. Like the person that cares the least about the outcome is usually the most confident person, or the person that doesn't need it the most, right? The person that needs something the most rarely gets it. Nobody wants to give you what you need in this world. So I think one of the important things too is that in a time that a lot of guys that were in the pickup, the meeting girls game, they shied away from it. I know Neil Strauss shied away. There's some other guys that were like scared of it because of the negative pushback, and you guys leaned in. And I thought that was pretty cool because I feel like this is something that's needed. This is like one of the biggest fucking holes in the market right now. I feel like guys have the least amount of confidence. They're talking the least amount of women. They're having the least amount of sex. Like it's never been worse than it is now. And I think a big part of that is just their lack of trying, they're giving up, whatever it is. But having the tools or just like knowing what you should and shouldn't do, just having some basic guidelines, I think will make guys just in and of itself more confident going and talking to women, right? Because if you roll up and you have no fucking clue what you're even supposed to say, what's good, what's bad, like versus if you just go up and you're like, you know what, I want to get 100 rejections and I just want to talk to women. Just even that approach is just so much better, right? So like with the right approach, with some basic guidelines of like what you should say, things not to say, and just how to lay the foundation, the framework of a relationship. Too many times like guys will go into this, they'll be fucking needy, they'll be overly nice, they'll overly invest, and the woman will start like bitching them around. And the more shit the guy takes, the more the fucking woman will give him shit and the less respect she'll have for him. And it's like this bad cycle that usually like never ends well.
And the problem is that the average guy goes and he looks, how can I get better? And he goes to the store and he buys a book like Men Are From Mars, which basically tells him to be more of a nice guy, to be more of a pushover. And
like, written by a fucking woman or by a gay guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Or a guy who's like never picked up a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Some guy that's been happily married for fucking 20 years and probably doesn't want anybody else to get pussy. He's not getting any himself.
But it's interesting what you said, because a lot of advice out there is be more confident. And it's not really easy to be confident if you have no clue what to do. So like with things like this channel and your society, that your Sigma society, it's like giving you the thing. It's I can be more confident if I have a rough idea of what I need to be doing and I have some direction versus going in completely clueless.
Yeah, faking confidence is very difficult, right? So I think the better thing to focus on is like how to build confidence. And I think, like I said, just by having 100, 200, 500 rejections and not caring so much about the outcome, you're going to appear more confident. You're going to be more relaxed. You're going into a setting and you're trying to fucking like, or then you're not trying to get a rejection, but you don't give a fuck. That's a success too. Just going up and speaking to a girl that's your goal. Your goal is not to get a number. Your goal is not to fuck her. If that happens, great. But like your goal is just to gain experience. And so I think once these guys get experience, and the more they talk to girls and the less they care, the more they're going to realize it's not that fucking scary. And the less they put emphasis on the outcome, they're going to get less anxious. Because they're getting less anxious, they're going to have better success. If they go up there and it's like the outcome's so important and they've pep talk themselves 30 minutes to go talk to this girl that they feel like is the only girl in the world for them. It's like all this emphasis, they're just going to fuck it up, right? I think by doing it and taking this approach, they're going to care less, and because they care less, they're going to have more success.
Yeah, I think a mindset that Rob and I, we teach our students is also something that we live. Is in the beginning when you're getting better, it's make it about the story, because it's a lot better story to go out and get rejected in than it is to say, go out and stand in the corner with your friends not doing anything. Like some of our best stories, some of the stories we count nowadays is like our worst rejection stories. I think guys are just so scared of it, but it's like the best stories to tell with your buddies is those stories.
Yeah, I remember seeing The Scrambler. I don't remember like the full breakdown of it. My friend was like a huge fucking fan of that module and he thought it was like really amazing. I remember watching and be like, oh shit, like that's interesting, that's true, that's good. Just at the level that you guys break it down for a person that doesn't have experience, like how many nuggets of truth that I had to learn the hard way over the years get communicated in this short video. And I think that's so applicable. It's applicable to like things like even aside from women, like negotiations, you know, with your boss at work, with somebody like high status, just like how your interactions can be crafted to get the result that you want. Yeah, I've seen a lot of pickup guys. Like I read the book, The Game, I'm sure all the fucking guys of our demographic did. And I thought it was interesting. I fucking met all the guys, Mystery, fucking Matador, whatever. But I think you guys had a more analytical like breakdown of this. And you guys have been in the game for a while. I think like those guys were in at the beginning of it. I almost consider them like the Doyle Brunsons of poker, right? Like they were the fucking legends. They were the guys that kind of came in. But now you guys would be more like the internet phenoms that have solved the game. You know, and I think of all the pickup artists and coaches and whatever, I think you guys had the most concise breakdown of like how to get from A to fucking Z, how to get what you want, and like an explanation of like why things work.
What I think is so great about your Sigma society and how it complements everything is like one of the things that we teach, right, is this idea of being autonomous, being a man going somewhere. And what you do is you encapsulate everything into this, right? It's not just dating, right? It's how to make money, how to get in shape, how to be just a better, more attractive man in all areas of your life, which even if you focus on those other three, just mastering those other three makes you more confident and will help you in your dating life as well. They all combine to make everything easier for you, which is what I think is so great about it.
Yeah, confidence is king, right? That's our goal, is just to build genuine confidence. And like we were talking about earlier, you could say the shittiest line, but if you say it confidently, it's much better than the best line delivered with a lack of confidence. I think building genuine confidence with these guys will help them in every aspect of their life, not just getting pussy, getting a fucking job. When somebody comes to fucking interview with me and they're confident and they look the part, I'm fucking 10 times more likely to hire them, even if their resume doesn't speak to their experience, right? Like I've had guys come in with great resumes, look great on paper, but they just fucking, I don't know, I just didn't believe it. Like they just didn't seem confident to me. Like, and so I think a lot of whether or not you get a job will be determined on how you come across, whether or not you get a date, all these things. A lot of these things are defined in the moment by little things. And little things that it's hard to fake, right? Like confidence is hard to fake. You can do it at a short period of time, but then there's going to be incongruencies. People are just not great actors. So I think the only real way to do this correctly is to build genuine confidence.